Keith, I've been studying up on Goldgroup. Very impressive company. Assets in Mexico. You guys are based in Canada, but the assets, an assortment of assets in Mexico, right? I mean, how many total projects do you have down there, Keith?
We've got 6 projects in Mexico.
6? Yep. Wow.
And we're totally focused in Mexico.
Yes.
And it's, I've lived in Mexico for 13 years and built up an incredible team of production people and exploration people throughout Mexico. And we have 1 producing mine and 2 very near-term production assets to build up on our basic production.
Well, we find that investors, when they're analyzing a company like yours, first they look at the resources, and they love when you're defining and growing the resources, but they also like it when you start to get into production, because that means you're real at that point, right? And you're doing both right now.
That's absolutely right. We just merged our company, Goldgroup, with a production company, Sierra, to give ourselves that initial production and use their production team.
Sure.
And that's a production team which I'm familiar with and has been in production for several years now. And with that team, we can grow our near-term production assets. Now, Goldgroup's got the 2 facets to it. It's got the production side of it, but it's also got very much the exploration side.
Yes.
And so our 2 principal assets, which are Caballo Blanco down in the state of Veracruz, which is an industrial state of Mexico. That has a lot of upside potential. It's got an ore body there which is reckoned by many geologists to have the characteristics of the high sulfidation systems of Piorina of Barrick in Peru, Yanacocha of Newmont in Peru, and is a similar system to Alamos Gold's Mulatos deposit in northern Mexico. Of course, all of those deposits are many, many millions of ounces.
Yes.
Although we only have at the moment 650,000 ounces in a 43-101 compliant resource there, we believe there's tremendous upside for more. And our intention is to put that mine into production inside approximately 2 years at a rate of about 100,000 ounces a year. So we have an aggressive production play there.
Very aggressive. I mean, you talk about 200,000 ounces a year within 3 years, right?
That's correct, yes.
It's a lot of gold.
That's absolutely correct. And the other play that we have, which is very, very significant, and where we have in excess of 170 drill holes right now, is our San Jose de Gracia play in western Mexico in the state of Sinaloa. It's only an hour's flying time from the port city of Los Mochis. So both of those projects, that's Caballo Blanco and San Jose de Gracia, are well situated. They've got good infrastructure facilities. That property is a low sulfidation system, and it's got, at the moment, just over 600,000 ounces of gold in the ground, 43-101 gain compliant.
Okay.
We believe that can be put into production in just over 2 years also, starting off at a slightly smaller scale, but building up to 100,000 ounces a year.
Well, we're talking here about, when you do the multiplication, billions of dollars in revenue, aren't we?
Well, that's exactly right. We believe that those 2 properties alone will have billions of dollars in the ground, and the revenue will come out over a number of years, of course.
Right.
But we think that building on the back of the ounces already at Cerro Colorado in northern Mexico, that's the producing mine right now, and that's a very nice operation. It's increasing production just now with its new crushing system which is being installed. By the way, I should mention that both Caballo Blanco and San Jose de Gracia are expected to have gold production costs of around $300 an ounce.
Really?
Which is on the low side.
Very low side, because normally it's $400 or $500 at least, right?
That's correct. And the reason for that is Caballo Blanco is well situated. It's a totally oxidized ore body, and it has very, very high recovery characteristics.
Okay.
San Jose de Gracia, on the other hand, has has very high grade. Its first ore body that we expect to mine there is in excess of 9 grams of gold per ton, which is very high for a gold mine of that type.
Certainly is. Well, it's an impressive company. I think, we've looked at dozens, if not hundreds, of mining companies in Canada, and your company, Goldgroup, clearly is rising to the top here. It's a quality operation.
We think it is, and we think it's due to the fact that we have this high-class management, both in Canada and in Mexico. For example, Mr. Paco Escandon, who was the ex-head of the Consejo, the Bureau of Mineral Resources in Mexico, has just joined us to run the Caballo Blanco property. We think that's a significant situation because in Mexico there are 2 facets to operating mining properties. There's the social aspect and the environmental aspect, and also the mining geological aspect. And we think that Mr. Escandon coming on board with us is a significant addition to our team in the sociological and environmental aspects of running our operations in Mexico.
Now, you said you've lived in Mexico?
I've lived in Mexico for 13 years.
So you know the space very well.
Very well. And
the culture and all of it.
Yeah, I'm very well what you might call entrenched into the Mexican way of life. I understand the Mexicans, and I'm well accepted.
That's important.
Very important. I'm well accepted in fairly influential circles in Mexico.
Because when you get into production, they can hold you up unless you have the right relationship with them.
We think relationships, not just in Mexico but everywhere,
yeah.
are all about building. It's all about building relationships. Without the relationships, without the personnel and the human relationships, you don't go anywhere in this world, and that is especially true in Mexico.
Well, thank you, Keith, for being here, because we're very impressed with where you're going, and we're telling our viewers to take a close look.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
That's very kind of you.
Thank you. Thank you.